Where would the Toronto Blue Jays be without Jeff Hoffman and his heroics early on in the season? Well, I'll tell you one thing. The short answer to that is not first place in the American League East 16 games into the season. The Jays are 9-7. Jeff Hoffman is a big reason for that. So I'll break down his performance and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's going on, Jays fans? Welcome into 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. And before I get into it, I want to congratulate Rory McIlroy on winning his first Masters title. It was, I'm not a big golf guy, but I always tune in to the Masters. That was the greatest golf that I've ever seen. The fact that it went to a sudden death playoff between him and Justin Rose, I mean, that was just absolute cinema. And Rory McIlroy had the opportunity to wrap it up on the 18th hole. He wasn't able to do so. So then goes to a playoff hole. It seems like he's lost all his momentum. And then, like a true champion does, he digs deep and finds a way. He finds a way. So, again, just another great year at Augusta. Definitely a bucket list item for me to go one year or even have the chance to catch a practice round. But everyone was having a great time. Rory McIlroy as well, picking up his first Masters victory and the Grand Slam, the title Grand Slam. You know, he's won every Open. He's won an Olympic medal. He's accomplished. Arguably the greatest golfer of his generation. Don't get carried away. His generation. That does not include Tiger Woods, but still great showing by McIlroy, and a lot of fun this weekend at the Masters. A lot of fun as well watching the Toronto Blue Jays pick up another win, move to 9-7, and let's get into it here. Jeff Hoffman this season with the Blue Jays, 9 innings pitched, 1 earned run only. He's given up only 5 hits and 1 walk, and then 13 strikeouts in those 9 innings pitched. Orioles, something to note here. Orioles backed out of an agreement to sign Hoffman over some shoulder concerns, which is valid, but I believe that there are some different physical tests. I don't know if Hoffman wanted to be a starter with either the Orioles or other teams that were trying to sign him. But he ended up coming over to the Jays, the team that drafted him and traded him away in the Troy Tulowitzki deal. And, you know, now he's one of the best closers in baseball, and he has been for the better part of a year now, or relievers. I think this is his first full-time season as a closer. And where would the Blue Jays be without him? That is the title of this video. And the short answer is, yeah, not in first place in the AL East. And something that I found interesting at the end of the game, when after his second inning of work, so it's not the first time that we've seen Jeff Hoffman do this season for the Blue Jays. It's clear that they're going to rely on him and Jimmy Garcia a ton in the back end of that bullpen, which could get a little dicey once you reach the midway point of the season or even the end of the season, because there's just not that many reliable arms in the Blue Jays bullpen. They've already had a few games slip away that the bullpen blew, and that was not Jeff Hoffman's doing. It was not Jimmy Garcia's doing, who hasn't given up a run either this season. So those two guys have been absolute nails. They've been shut down. But yeah, Jeff Hoffman blew a kiss to the Orioles, who were close to signing him until they didn't pass his physical. So again, this could be different. Like maybe they gave him a physical to be a starter, which is entirely possible. Jeff Hoffman was a starter earlier in his big league career. He was drafted as a starting pitcher, developed as a starting pitcher. It never worked out for him, but similar to a lot of guys who just can't cut it in the rotation, they have great stuff. They have a great mix of pitches, and it's a seamless transition over to the bullpen. So you harness that stuff. You harness that ability to throw strikes, and you manifest it into that one inning. Be dominant for that one inning. Jeff Hoffman, if he was a starter, probably be in the mid-90s, but you see him now in a closer's role. He's in the high 90s, 98, 99 consistently, with a great splitter, a great slider. He's got plus pitches, something that you don't really see out of closers these days. You mostly see closers with two pitches, and then that's good enough to get them by. But that's the reason why they're closers. They have great stuff, but they don't have enough. And they don't have enough to get the order out three times in a game or face the order three times. Jeff Hoffman has that ability. He's done it before with less success than he has had in the closer role or in a setup role with Philadelphia, but he's really found his role now. And the Blue Jays signed him to a 3-year deal. Absolute stroke of genius right there by Ross Atkins. And some fans were weary, why did he fail two physicals? And then the Blue Jays say, oh, we'll take you, no problem. Well, this is why. He's been absolute nails. One of the best relievers in baseball. And yeah, the Jays would not be in first place in the AL East without him. Granted, very early in the season, so I don't want to get carried away here, but he's clearly an elite reliever, and he's one of the best in the game today. So having that insurance is a big bonus for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's been a while since a Blue Jays reliever felt like Jeff Hoffman does right now. He's pitching with his middle fingers up. Absolutely incredible. That's Keegan Matheson of MLB.com. He obviously travels with the team. He's pretty much at every game, if not all of them. So Keegan Matheson sees the same thing that we're seeing from Jeff Hoffman, and that's that big FU attitude. You can't hit me. Here it is, 98 down the middle of the plate, and you're not going to be able to touch it. And that's exactly what he did to the Orioles. His slider didn't really work. He pulled a couple of fastballs. His control, maybe not the best today, but it didn't end up mattering. Or yesterday, I should say. I don't think his control was all that great in the second game of the series against the Baltimore Orioles. But when your stuff is that good, and when you've been as dominant as Hoffman has, with the intensity that he possesses, it's damn near impossible to hit. So even if it's 98 down the middle, it's still 98 miles an hour. It's no cakewalk, and I've never seen a 98 mile an hour pitch, so I can't speak from experience, but it doesn't seem like fun to step into the batter's box and have to face that. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what have you thought of the Jeff Hoffman signing thus far? How impressive has he been 16 games into the season for the Toronto Blue Jays? And the final question, where would the Jays be without him? And do you think that they could maybe sneak into a playoff spot if Jeff Hoffman has as great a season as we think he can have? But yeah, that'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you all so much for making it this far, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's have a great week, ladies and gentlemen.